All right, so if we want to have our logo animated into our Premiere project, first we'll start by prepping that image. So we'll take our existing file, we'll remove our cut lines, and then we're going to just make note of your artboard that you're on. So if you're clicked here, look down the bottom, showing artboard 2. So I'm going to do File, Export As, change it to a PNG, and select that range of just artboard 2. All right, and it's going to go to that same location. We export that. Screen should be good. And then background color would be transparent because we don't want to see any of that. We're going to have that just show up on our black kind of background in Premiere. So if I export that, that should be ready to go. All right, so then from there, I'm going to go to Premiere and I will import that. So I'll right click and import, and I'm going to go to my folder where I saved that. There it is. All right, so now we can see it here. All right, maybe my color choice would have to be a little bit different. Actually, yeah, I don't really see it because it's on black. So I'm going to just go in here real quickly. Shouldn't take too long. Give it a little bit of a stroke on there. See if I can do the same thing here, just to make that stand off the background a little bit. And let's see that. Let's see my D. I don't think that's too bad. So I'll just work with that. So I'm going to re-export that again. So you might have to wait until you bring it in to really see what it looks like. Okay, so we'll replace. Now let's see, did it update it? Yep, and that's what's cool about a lot of the Adobe programs. I can see that it automatically updated that file. So we could have done all of our animation and then updated the file and the changes would take effect. All right, so once it's in here, we could select all of our stuff on our timeline and move it down, but remember, when you're in your source view, you can use this insert option and it automatically bumps everything down. All right, so what I want to do, or I'd like everybody to do, is either animate it to make it larger or fade in. So you can kind of choose whichever one you want. The process will be the same. So once that's on our timeline, we're going to go to the Editing tab, and depending on which effect you want to do, I think I'm going to make mine get larger, but I'll show you the same process with fading in. So I'm going to start it kind of small. I'm going to just drag down my scale factor. All right, and to animate anything, all we do is we click what's called the stopwatch. All right, if you look on your Editing tab, in front of all of your characteristics, your features here, you have these little stopwatches. So when you press that, that tells the software that you want to animate that. And what that does is it puts a keyframe right at that point. So it's a little hard to see, but in this mini timeline up here, we do have a little keyframe icon. All right, so I'm going to say at this point, or if we're thinking kind of literally, you're telling the program at this point in time, your scale factor is 22%. And now I'm going to move it about halfway through this little duration of this. And now all I have to do is at that point, I'm going to just drag my value to be there. And then I will say, so it's basically saying at that point, it's 281%. If I scrub back and forth, now I can see that effect applying. All right, now let's see how this looks.
Good morning, Steph.
So that would be to scale it to make it come in as it's coming in or entering. We can also, so if you wanted to do opacity, you could do, and I can do both at the same time really. So all I would do is click the stopwatch again in front of opacity. I can drop it down to like 0. And then I can use my shift key. Maybe I have that fade in at the same point there and make that go to 100 at that point. So now I have it getting larger and fading in as our animation. All right, so you have two options there. You could do both if you want. The other thing also that we haven't talked about too much is transitions. I'm looking at this logo. It just kind of goes away. Maybe I'd like that to kind of fade out. We could manually fade it out, and this actually could be another way that you could fade it in also. I believe you can do, if we go to effects and go to video transitions, all right, and do a dissolve. I know this one I would put in the middle here. So you just drag it onto the clip just like we did with any other effect. Now sometimes it only applies it to like the second part of it. I like it to kind of bridge through so that we have one fading out, another fading in. So that's your cross dissolve. And I don't know if I do that in the beginning. Yeah, so that could be another way to fade it in also. That would be kind of a quicker way, all right? But I'll let you choose which way you want to do that, all right? So that would, and you can apply those transitions between your other clips also if you find that they're kind of abrupt cuts and that you want that to be a little smoother transition from one clip to another. All right, so that would be the process of preparing your image to have that transparent background and then animating it for the title sequence.